Mikey, we're live, dude. We got to do this. I mean, like, look, we've said that we're going to do this, so we have to do it, right, Mikey?
Unfortunately, yes. So here we are, rain or shine, no matter how bad it gets.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you
for everybody.
Let me ask you a question as we deal with our technical issues live instead of behind the scenes. I am potting for the first time from the pub from Ireland's Four Courts in Arlington, Virginia. Wonderful pub. Place is emptied out a little bit. It's actually, frankly, filled with Roma fans at the moment, watching their game against Fiorentina. How's the audio? Are you able to hear me? Would you rather not hear me? Like, what's the situation?
Well, option B always. But yeah, you're slightly less clear, a little bit pop in your audio, but you don't got the Blue Yeti with you, so I understand you don't got the mic.
I actually do, but this one tends to block out more of the outside noise. So look, I'm counting on you on letting me know if my audio is shit. I'll pause. I'll mute when I'm not on. But we want the live pub experience because the live pub experience is literally the only thing we have going for us at the moment,
yes,
as an Arsenal supporter. And for you, I feel terrible because you're not at the pub. You're waiting on water to break.
Yes, exciting times.
And it's not going well. We've got Trish here. Trish is in the house. So let's start off. Oh, you got to stick around. All right. Trish is a top Arlington Gooner. Why do you keep coming here when our team is dealing with this kind of absolute bullshit?
To see you, obviously.
I mean, yeah, that is what you do. All right. Serious question now, though. Is there any hope that we can resolve this season? Any hope that we don't basically go into Christmas in 18th place instead of 15th place like last year?
Probably not. And I hate being that person, but also it doesn't matter to me because this is my team. And I'm there, win, lose, or lose, or lose, or lose. And I'm really...
Now, what would you say to people that say that you're accepting failure just because you like? I mean, let's just cut this down to its least common denominator. You like going to the pub and drinking and watching football, right?
I'm coming and watching football because I support my team and I can see the direction that they're trying to do, and I can agree or disagree with what is going on. But I just have to. I mean, I can sit here and tweet all I want and think all I want, but I'm not part of the inner crowd over there, so I don't know what it is that they're doing and what they're aiming for and what it is that they're looking for. So I can complain all I want, but I honestly just have to. We have
to suck it up and take it.
I have to believe that they have a plan and they're executing the plan and they're going forward with that plan, and it's just something that I don't see.
So, Mikey, let's turn this into kind of the theme of the thing, because you know how I'm always harping on like how you handle our failure.
Yeah.
There's no question that we are experiencing failure at the moment, and we're going to hear some viewpoints from people. We've got Colin, we've got Aston, we've got Omar in the chat. Everyone else, if you want to come in here, go to GoonerOpenMic.com. You can join us. I mean, it depends on how much you feel that you can control the situation with your rage, and you know, I guess I'm the type to just not want to be rageful, but there's every reason to be after today's game. So, Mike, you want to bring in our first open micer?
Yeah, absolutely. So, First open micer, we're gonna bring in. I think it's going to be Omar.
Yeah, we favor those who haven't been on with us yet. So you're breaking your duck, Omar. Omar, buddy.
Not too bad, thanks.
On the game.
Yeah, well, there you go. The sad thing is that, kind of expected it, didn't we? Winning it would have been a bit of a surprise, really. But last year we did, because we didn't expect to win last year, and then we ended up winning. But I think what really hurts the last game and this game as well is there's just no identity, is there? Like, one of the reasons that a lot of our friends used to say, why do you support Arsenal? And you're like, well, I love the way we play. I can't really say that anymore because I don't actually know how we play. the thing about, always pushing it to the left to Tierney and then crossing it in and crossing it in. And you almost think the kind of striker that we need is Lukaku, because that's what the service that we get. So that's the game. But then what kind of, I expected us to lose anyway. But what I really kind of took away from it, you saw Tierney going off, probably injured again. Martinelli ran his socks off. And you just think this has been the kind of case for Arsenal for years, where you get these really good youngsters and then you ask too much of them, like Wilshire's, I think, one of the examples. And then they don't achieve what they should have achieved because it's just the planning of the club is just awful, isn't it? And as all the people on the news and everything else that they say is the recruitment. I don't know what they've done for these years. Now, yeah, I mean, they're trying to buy the young players, but if you think of it this way, Ramsdale, homegrown and all that stuff. But then you've got Willian and you've got Cedric, who take up the non-homegrown slots. You just think, why? Why are they doing that? So, don't know. I think Arteta's going to, walk a really, really thin line, really, because I can't see the difference that he made when he started. And now he's, kind of, I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. And even if you think of his press conferences, when he first came in and his answer, you liked his answers. You're like, oh yeah, that's what I want to hear, something different. He's gone back to how it used to be. Everything's non-committal. Everything's politically kind of correct. And
he's sounding like end stage Arsene Wenger at this moment.
It does.
And that's not a good formula. That's not the process that we were supposed to be trusting. Omar, where are you calling from? Where are you at?
Norwich in the UK.
Nice. I should have brought the bell with me, but so how'd you become an Arsenal fan? I mean, did you grow up in Norwich or
no? Actually,
what's the story?
I actually grew up in Bangladesh, and I started really kind of when this is my team is when Bergkamp scored that goal against Newcastle, and that goal just sold me. Since then, I've been a Gooner. It's not a nice time. I almost went to the game. I had an offer of a ticket last night, and I said, "Nah, I don't think I can make it. I'm not gonna go.
I'm not gonna subject myself to that kind of punishment."
Omar, so I know going into the game, you said that you were kind of expecting us to lose almost, but did you have any higher expectations, thinking about the rumors that like Aubameyang might potentially start, and we had Ben White? Before the news broke, did that adjust your expectation, or let me rephrase that, did that lower your expectations even more that Arsenal could pull out a result from this? Or were you pretty much kind of last weekend versus Brentford, you're like, shit, we got Chelsea next, that's going to be a definite loss?
Well, I think I'll give you an example. Do you remember one of the games, I think it was in the Carling Cup in Bradford, that we lost when Vermaelen still used to play, and we lost like right in the end? And I was like, Bradford, a second division team, they beat us because they just bullied us. There was no other reason. They weren't better footballers. Same thing happened with Brentford. Like everyone just got pushed about every second ball. And today I thought Arteta, for some reason, now will not budge from his back four. Because, when he was winning the games against Chelsea and Liverpool, the FA Cup and everything, we had a back five because the players that we have are maybe not suited to a back four just yet. They need a bit more time. And for some reason, I think what you asked me is the only thing that could have gotten me hoping for a bit more is if I thought Arteta would have planned specifically for this game. It just seemed like he's got his own way of doing it. And he's just going to be stubborn and just going to keep on going with, this is my back four. This is the way I play. This is what I'm going to do.
And again, that is classic Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
I mean, we know from the people that we've spoken to, it's also pretty obvious from the eye test that he did not plan or game plan for specific opponents. There was a game, I don't know if it was West Brom or somebody that we played against maybe a year before he finally resigned, where we knew the threat was going to be from set pieces and headed balls, from set pieces, and yet did nothing to try to counter that because We are the Arsenal.
I know.
And
And the thing is,
people have to
when
plan
Wenger-
for us.
Well, I mean, we have
not
that
that way
ongoing
anymore.
joke, isn't it, with Wenger? You know, the cold night in Stoke. Always, he didn't, set us up for it. But with Arteta, there's no reason for him not to do it. I don't understand it. If you watch,
He's
City
proving to be bereft of ideas.
I know. And the thing is, if you watched City yesterday and you realised what Pep Guardiola does, but Arteta's not. He's not Guardiola, and I'm just worried that he might just want to be too much like him, and so that's kind of one of the worries. And that shouldn't be the case, though. Arsenal had their own way of doing it, and of course that was Wenger. I think a lot of us, I'm a Wenger loyalist because I've known Arsenal always under him. But since then, even Unai Emery got us playing better than Arteta. Unfortunately, I have to say that it's not been nice to watch Arsenal for the past few months. It's just not nice.
Well, you know who is nice? You for joining us today. Appreciate it. We're always looking to have new people come on the open mics. I put you on first because of that. If there's anyone else here that hasn't been on the open mic, come to Goober. Come to GoonerOpenMic.com. I'm going to get all those things. I'm going to get shitteamopenmic.com, GooberOpenMic.com, RelegationOpenMic.com. We're just going to point them all to coming into our studio because
do it all.
Yeah. So
Banter FC, that's what we are, aren't we?
Absolutely. So Omar, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Omar. Appreciate it, dude.
We're going to hear on tape. That shows how old I am. We're going to we're going to hear from John Smith, who, if you watched our 24-hour podcast for Gooners versus Cancer, John is a brilliant guy, passionate Gooner, started an incredible charitable campaign to try to draw attention to a family friend of his, Max, who lost his father due to cancer. Our soft spot for that, obviously. And as part of that, he, as part of the whole we want to make you guys feel great type of Gooner rescue mission, which is one of the great things about being a Gooner, they received tickets to the game today. Now, I bet you he probably regrets making that post at all because of today's games, but we have an instant reaction from him, which I literally have not even listened to yet. It's about a minute and a half long, and this is John. So if it's bizarre and inappropriate, I apologize in advance, but I kind of doubt it is. So, John, here you go.
Just doing a quick video for the Gooners podcast in America. They asked me to do them a quick video about after the match.
Crap game.
Yes, that was disappointing. Not only did we get absolutely soaked, I don't know, the game just seems so flat. We never really created any good chances. I can't think we've really tested Mendy other than when Saka tipped the ball over the bar. We just got no attacking finesse anymore. I know they brought Aubameyang on towards the end, but he didn't really do much, and it was a little too late, really.
Target man strike.
We had the Chelsea fans ripping the mick out of us all afternoon, saying we're getting relegated, and I'm still bloody worried about this relegation situation. It's not right. Something's got to give, and worried Martinelli went off with an injury, Tierney as well, and they were predominantly some of our most liveliest players. Smith Rowe is again as usual, but it's not good enough. Can't carry on like this. We've now gone 2 Premier League games and we've not scored a single bloody goal, and not even looked like we're going to score a goal, have we, Max? It's pretty bad. So sounds like the final whistle's just gone, because I can hear all the booing. Everybody's leaving early to go to the train station. So that's it. A bit more of it later. I'm going to try and get dry and grab a drink and some food.
That's where it ended. He couldn't even finish talking about how miserable he was.
Can I say that I like how you said if it was weird or something? Like, I apologize for that, as if that's not the brand of the podcast.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like if John was going to say
weird
something that we wouldn't.
I don't want anything weird or unkempt to go out of our airways. I've just seen a man pour salt into his beer.
Is he Mexican?
No,
it's normally followed up with lime.
It was just salt into the beer.
Yeah, I've done that.
So yeah, okay. That's apparently a Mexican thing. So maybe he's having Modelo, but he'll be
Salt
joining
and
us in a
lime,
minute.
baby.
Good old Chris Ware will be joining us in a minute. All right, so John, yeah, you are weird, but the team is forcing us into a situation where All right, so we're gonna put Colin on, and we're gonna do this as it's gonna be fun because I'm sure Colin is gonna talk about the bright side of the games today.
It's gonna be fun.
We want to hear. Start with something positive and then go into whatever you wanted to go to. And
Don't hold back, Colin.
While you're talking, I'm going to go take a piss.
You go do that, Mike.
Where's your positive statement? And then I can.
He's taking Colin. He's taking the piss right now. Don't worry.
I'm literally about to take one.
I mean, if you're looking for positives, bro, you're looking at the wrong guy.
Well, I know, but that's why that's the challenge. I want you to come up with one. Leno didn't look that bad.
All right, one positive World Cup save from Leno, but that's about it.
There you go, Colin.
All right, so then
again,
have your way now. Have your way, and then Mike will tell you why you're wrong. All right, bye.
And I'll tell him.
Go for it, man. Unwind. Go for it, man. A lot of frustration going around right now.
I know. The thing is, Mike, right? Be honest with me now. Where was your confidence going into this game?
My confidence was shattered going into the season, not before the Brentford game, but going into we had Brentford, Chelsea, Manchester City, and as unpopular of an opinion this sounds, right? I kind of look at our club and I think to myself, we're not at Chelsea and City's level. So a loss wouldn't have surprised me. But then the Brentford game happened. And I'm like, that's a really look, I'm not knocking Brentford, but just analyzing our squad. And I'm like, that was a really piss poor fucking display of football. On top of that, the COVID cases. And look, I thought it was going to be bad. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be bad. I thought it was going to be worse because a good friend of mine texted me, said, let's go Chelsea. I'm betting on them. And then like the news broke that, White wasn't going to be part of the squad. And I was like, hey guys, if you guys want to bet more, I would recommend betting more. That's what I thought. So I thought it was going to get really ugly. And I'm going to say a 2-0 almost saved us a little bit of an embarrassment. But yeah, it's bad, Colin. I mean, it's very, very difficult to find any positives out of these last two displays. So yeah, gutted and not super positive moving forward. I mean, Manchester City next week, of course, we got the West Brom game coming up before that, but troubling times to say the very least, man.
All right. Let me just put this out there, right? My confidence before this game, rock bottom. Do you know why that is, right? It's got nothing to do with Brentford, right? That's not a slight on them. Like, they're actually a good side because I watched them against Palace the other day, and you know what? They were actually decent. However, the reason my confidence was rock bottom, I've got zero faith in this club to do the right thing. And by right thing, I mean do what is necessary to get us competing again. I've got zero confidence in this manager, right? It's like what Mike was saying, where it's like he's got the worst qualities of Wenger. I'd actually go one step further. He's got the worst qualities of Wenger in the sense that he's stubborn and sticks to a back four, but he's also got the worst qualities of Pep Guardiola in the sense that he thinks too much.
Do you
That's
think
fair? Yeah, that's actually really fair. Sorry, Mike.
Does it not seem like I see a desire from the club to get itself out of the situation? I just see a club that just doesn't they're cursed. Like we're trying to get younger.
No.
We're trying to get younger, but maybe
Mike,
we're signing the wrong young guys.
No. That's the thing, right? This is a myth that Arsenal are building a title-winning team for the future. That's a myth.
But we've changed. Right? We've changed the things that we've done over time, presumably as a recognition of our failures. yet it's just still doesn't work. Like at what point are you just like, it doesn't matter? Excuse me, doesn't matter what we do.
Look,
This is just, and that's when you start pointing at the owners, because that's the one thing that you can't change constantly.
all right. The reason, right? I say that the reason I say that's a myth, right? Because the thing is, I've got a lot of stick over the last few weeks because I've just said that Ramsdale, Odegaard, and the other signings we've made don't change a goddamn thing, right? Ask yourself this. Would Ramsdale get into Liverpool's side? No. Would he get into Man City's side? No. Would he get into Chelsea's? Hell no. Hell no. The signings we've made...
He'd be ahead of Kepa. There's that.
They have Mendy now. Kepa's a backup. Come on. The signings we've made, right? If you really want to look at it, are they going to make an impact the way Van Dijk and Alisson did for Liverpool? The answer: no. No, it's not going to happen. And this manager, on him while I'm at it, he has to be the most protected manager in the history of Arsenal Football Club. And I mean more so than Wenger. Wenger never got this amount of protection. The reason,
well, the only reason he needed protection was because things got so bad after he already had gotten. I mean, Arteta's done nothing, and yet he's being protected.
He earned that because he gave us the Invincibles and said amount of FA Cups. Right now, I'm not saying that Wenger didn't need to go, like at the end of it. Of course he did. He was culpable with why where we are right now, but you can't sit. At least he had a clout to go, I don't want this player, get rid of him. And you could sit there and go, yeah, but if Wenger says he doesn't want a player, cool, because he's got that clout of he's Arsene Wenger, right? Arteta's not got anything like that. I look at him and I was watching him on the touchline today, right? He looks like a broken man. Like, if you notice, he's never sat down the entire time he's been at Arsenal. And today, he sits down. That was an embarrassment, Mike. An embarrassment. Are you seriously telling me that this man is going to take us forward? Oh, look at this team. They look legitimately lost. Lost.
Yeah, no, it's hard not to argue with that. And the only thing that could possibly change the trajectory of where things are headed right now, which is in a very negative direction, would be some sort of awakening after the international break, which we are almost certain to enter either bottom or next to bottom at the table in. And
bro, we're propping up Newcastle at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to think it will change. But I don't, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to kind of start with this going forward, which is, what has to happen for him to get sacked at this point? Like, how bad and how long does it need to go? And personally, my thought is we don't have to look any further than the North London Derby on 26th of September.
No, he loses that, he's fucked.
If he doesn't win that game, even if the two previous games out of the internationals have been won, if he doesn't win that game, I don't see how he can hold his position anymore. Quick yes or no on that, and then we're going to go to Sam, who's been waiting in the red room. I mean, can you see the club, even knowing that he's protected, can you see them holding on to him if we don't come out of that specific game with a win?
His time is coming to an end, Mike, and people need to get with that. Now, I know what people are going to say to me. Oh, who are you going to bring in then? Well, let's just get something straight right now. Antonio Conte is not coming, right? That's not happening. The reason he left Inter was because the Inter board couldn't match his ambitions. You really think he's going to join Arsenal when we've got
Kroenkes have already said that they're committed to this youth movement, and that comes with coaching as well. We'll end up with Graham Potter or Eddie Howe.
That's just who I was about to say. That's who they'll get. Graham Potter, right? But the truth is, I wouldn't mind Graham Potter. Do you know why I wouldn't? Because when I look at what he's done with Brighton, he's actually done a good job on limited means. They play very good football, attacking football at that. And if they had a striker that's better than Mopai, they would be higher than they are, or at least in recent years.
And the big news is that we're gonna lure Graham Potter here by offering Brighton Ben White, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be the most important thing that we've ever done. Colin, we got to let you go. There's some people waiting in the red room. Thanks for joining us tonight. Always good to hear your point of view.
Colin, I'll say one thing that that kind of differentiates you from like a lot of the fans. I kind of think, well, for the most part, is you kind of have issues with everything, and I kind of find that in a sense refreshing, Colin, because normally what it is fans pinpoint like it's specifically only the X player, it's specifically only the owner, specifically you kind of look at it as a little bit of a more broader picture. And
you're an equal opportunity bastard.
You're equal opportunity. That's what you are. I that's what I kept on thinking about a hip hop reference coming your guys' way. Tupac song where he's like, I am prejudiced. I don't give a fuck. And he starts knocking on everybody. That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, hey, Colin.
No, it's not even that,
refreshing
mate.
to have
like,
you on,
it's not even that, mate. Like I just look at things in the code of like black and white and shit. Like it's not hard to do. Like, because like the amount of people that have basically said to me that, oh, you're a bad fan because you don't have 100% belief in the signings that we've made, right? And you don't have 100% belief in the manager. Apparently, here's the news for you, lads. That apparently makes you a bad fan all of a sudden.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay too much attention.
No,
I wouldn't pay too much
right?
attention.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't, right? Because at the end of the day, right, you have to look at things from a clear point of view, right? What is the style we play? Are the players that we've signed going to impact us in the sense that they're going to take us from 8th to 4th? And is the manager going to be able to take us to challenging for a title again? The answer to all of those questions is no. And if you can't see that, I've got news for you. You've got the blinders on. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Some of us are more comfortable with the blinders on. Final word.
Thanks, Colin.
AEW or WWE?
Come on, CM Punk, dude. Come on.
Obviously, come on.
Come on,
bro.
you already know. Come on.
We had the greatest debut in the history of the business outside Hogan happened this week. Who do you think was going with?
That was a hell of a pop. That's all I'm gonna say.
I put my transfer request in on WWE. I'm officially leaving.
Yeah, they might be done. All right. Thanks, Colin. Take care. All right,
Later,
Sam,
bro.
we're gonna bring you in now.
Sam.
All right, Sam, welcome. Where are you calling from? Where are you sitting at the moment?
I'm sitting just outside of Boston, in Woburn. But I'm from the Cayman Islands, though. But supported Arsenal my entire life. My dad grew up not too far outside of Highbury Stadium, so.
All right, so that's the why.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got a couple things we could talk about today. I mean, we could talk about Holding's hair. I don't know what that was all about.
Or lack thereof.
Pablo Mare starting to show some signs of maybe not being good enough. Sambi Lakanga, but I mean, do you have a specific thing that you want to talk about and bring onto the mic?
You guys wanted something positive. Well, Ben White's got a COVID test that's positive. So there you go.
Thank you, Sam.
I think you know that's not what I meant, but that's pretty good. All right,
well,
nice.
I got to dig
is
deep.
About the only positive thing going on. Nothing if not listening to instructions.
One thing I would say about Arteta, though, I mean, like, I kind of feel bad for him in a way because he still hasn't had a good run. There's still a lot going on. There's still a lot of context. And you can kind of see what he's trying to do. Like he's, this whole family vibe. He's trying to bring the fans back together. He's recruiting young and he's trying to build something for the future. But none of that means anything if you can't string some points together. That's all going to go right out the window. You can send out a family video today and everybody's going to be feeling it and feeling good. But then tomorrow, if you lose again, it goes away. So he's doing some right things off the pitch. Yeah, they're working that out off the pitch, but he just needs to get it right on the pitch. And I don't see, I've seen him make enough mistakes now to just feel like that's not going to change. He's shown his stubbornness. He refuses to go back to a back three when that was working with the players that we have, and it's gonna be his downfall.
Would you prefer a guy who is aggressively tinkering and trying to change things and showing that, like, okay, well, this isn't working, I'll go to that, and in doing that exposes his immaturity and lack of experience, but is trying to fix it, or someone who at this point I think we can say fancies himself a little bit more experienced than he is, just because he sat at the side of the master and is unwilling to change, stuck on his process, and willing to die on that hill. I mean, like, at this point, neither one are a good option. But I mean, how much longer? In a separate question, how much longer are we going to give him?
Yeah, I think we've already given him a bit too long, to be honest. You use the word tinkering, but it's not tinkering if you have a backup. All you need is a plan B, and a plan B for me would be a back three. And a game like today, that should have been something that he does. I mean, you need to have a little bit of like tinkering as well, because things are going to get thrown at you. You're going to get COVID situations. You're going to get injuries with Tierney and stuff like that. But you should have he does not have a plan B. It's very clear to see that he does not have a plan B. And if he has one, he's stingy with it because he won't take it out of his pocket and use it. So what's the point in having one?
So, Sam, one thing that you brought up was, a plan B. And I know, I just want to point this out, that I do understand that you're referring to tactics. So, but I was kind of thinking about a plan B course of action in this COVID world that we're living in, which it seems that it's going to be very normal, unless it would be the most Arsenal thing for like another game to be postponed when a team has like four or five positive tests and we don't, right? But in this season, which it seems to be the type of season where any team could have 4 or 5 positive tests and the game will go on. Considering the I'm going to say the lack of depth within our squad,
we're getting ours out of the way early in the season. So
no. But yeah, just get them all
win starting in October. Yeah, because everyone will have had it.
Yeah. Only the second half of the season counts, Mike. We know this.
Right.
No, but I'm referring to, like, how do you think the season will be affected? Like, I was having a discussion with a few pals of mine, and I could see teams like City and Chelsea with a ridiculously high quality second team, right? We've seen City, we've seen the whole like rosters that they put like 2 starting 11s for City, and they're both top 4. So if they're missing Stone, they got like Laporte, right? If they're missing like Sterling, they got like Foden. And so do you think that's going to like a heavy impact on the league moving forward? And like, is it going to be a thing where like Chelsea and City are just best prepared for this type of situation?
You know what? It's going to always, regardless of whether we're in COVID or not, it's always going to have an impact on a league, because you look at Arsenal, look at how many injuries we get. There's always going to be a reason for your starting players not to be there, but it is amplified greatly by COVID, I believe. Yes. Because, COVID's just throwing another thing that can happen to a player in there. So you're going to have a lot more people out a lot more often. And you have those teams with the depth like City that are, they probably have their bench can just walk into our team. Right. So yeah, I 100% agree that it will impact the way that the season plays out, and the teams with the less depth are, they're going to get hurt, and we don't have depth.
I think COVID is going to go down in football annals as being like the worst thing that ever happened to Arsenal. Like we're because it's just all about Arsenal at this point with COVID. Because everyone else is all right.
No, that wasn't the question. That
Everyone
was
else
not
is
the
fine.
question, Mikey.
Everyone
Drink
else
some
is
water.
fine. We
Drink some
we
water.
have
Sober
we have
up a little,
COVID,
Mikey.
and-
That was not the question. No, it could mean the difference between like a team that's battling relegation. If you think we're talking about just squad depth, just in general. I just brought it up as a conversation, but if you're like Norwich that just came up, and Aaron's and somebody else gets sick, that's a massive loss for them. It just seems like going to be fairly crazy now. I'm expected to see far more positive COVID tests in this season now that there's no sport bubble, right? Everybody's out doing their own thing. So it's going to go around the league way more is what I'm expecting this season.
Yeah, your question would be a lot easier to answer if there were clear policies around COVID. There is none. So how many players? I'll ask you this: how many players have to have COVID for them to postpone the match?
Well, that was a question before the Brentford game. Was like if it was really COVID that struck all those people, and it was all Friday afternoon that they found out about it. At what point do you try to postpone the game, and do you is there a rule about that? It just seems that now if you have an outbreak of COVID in your squad, the players who haven't missed the game and everyone else plays, and that was not the way it was during Project Restart. I mean, if you had one, then basically that was it for everybody. So I don't know, but we're getting it all out of the way early.
Yeah, we even got the Martinelli injury out of the way early.
Yeah,
too.
we got the Tierney injury, the Party injury.
What I can't wait is for like when Aubameyang is benched for the 4th time later this year, and they still try to use COVID as an excuse. I'm not Anthony goddamn Fauci, but I'm pretty sure you can't get COVID 4 times in 4 weeks. So you got to come up with a different excuse at this point. Sam, appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, Sam.
If you'd like to be found on social media, where would we be? Where would we go to do so?
Work of Martetta.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
It flip-flops between being real and sarcastic, depending on how we're doing.
Yeah,
I love that, dude.
My support of Arsenal flips between being real and sarcastic, depending on where we're going. So I mean, all of a sudden, Sutton United. I mean, I'm gonna petition the rest of the podcast to change it to a Sutton United pod. So stay tuned for that. But Sam, always great to have a new face on the open mic. So appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, man. Cheers, guys.
All right, take care, buddy. All right, Michael, are you ready to come on? Looks like you're ready to come on. Michael.
Michael, I'm watching you. You've been all over the place. I've seen you in a bus, a car, your house.
Yeah, I saw clouds behind you. Yeah. So where are you on your way home from?
No, I just left the house. I actually in the grocery store right now, trying to go grocery shopping.
So you're buying food and just you can't stop thinking about the Arsenal at this point.
I mean,
are you leaning on your grocery cart at this moment?
Yeah.
Turn it around. Let's see what's in there. Let's see what's in there after an Arsenal loss.
Well,
you're at Costco.
Right now,
it looks like you're at Costco.
I'm in HEB, which is.
So is it all alcohol and like comfort food, or are you buying
everything.
There's no vegetables
Pretty much
in there?
Everything. Groceries, vegetables, everything.
Because the last thing I want to do after a game like today is buy fucking vegetables. I'm sorry. Maybe this is the wrong thing to say, but we played like vegetables today.
We only eat salads when Arsenal wins, which would explain our weights.
When did you get so cocky to come with me with that bullshit? All right, so Michael, what thoughts on the game today? Or if you would prefer, because we've spoken about the game today, thoughts on Odegaard and Ramsdale coming in, because we haven't potted since the Mega Friday supermarket sweep of new players for Arsenal.
And there's a request for you right there on the chat, if you could see it, Michael. While you're there, could you buy some players for us?
Yeah. We're gonna take the $2.80 that YouTube lets us keep from that, and we're gonna add it to your grocery bill.
No problem.
Thank you, Sam. And yeah, so Michael, what's on your mind?
Yes. So I'm gonna start with the Ramsdale and Odegaard situation. I mean, if we're looking at it from Arsenal perspective, which is we're looking to get people in. It's good signings. But if we're looking at it in terms of what we need, as a club that should be competing for the highest trophies. I would say that is subject to interpretation, and I would also go as far as saying that we're not kind of addressing the issues that we have, right? Because yeah, we're buying a lot of players, we're giving players new contracts, but we're not selling anybody apart from Joe Willock that we sold for what the odd 20 million or 25 million.
Oh,
We're not selling.
we're about to come into some serious money for Kolasinac too. I mean, the way he was able to be on the bench today should add at least another 50 to 75 p onto his trade value.
I know what you're saying, but it's very very sad, right? The state at which the club is being run right now. Um, One time we'll be calling a dude the Messiah, like the best thing, since should I say kale. Now I'm not gonna go with fried rice today, but the next week we'll be calling him the worst, person to ever do deals or do businesses, at the Arsenal because of the way they're running the club. And without, being generous, I can say categorically that they're running the club into the ground. Like the club is being run into the ground right now. We don't have a manager that seems to know what he's doing. Um, you know, Apart from him being like the best person to talk to when it comes to media assignments, which, I think that's the only thing he knows how to do. The
I mean,
other thing,
I think he knows what he's doing. I just think he just can't get it to work. Like, I don't think he's clueless. I think it's just all going wrong on him.
Mikey, but how about this? What would you say if we had somebody like a Steve Bruce, right? Or Samala that is coming to that team, and actually make them play like the
I would
teams
just
is
feel
what
so
they take on.
dirty. I would just feel
No,
so
no, no, no.
dirty.
I'm just trying to, look at it from that perspective because we all say, oh yeah, maybe he's working with what he's got, but in my opinion, I don't think he's getting anything out of those players. I don't think they, I would not want to say this, but I have to. I don't think they accord him, a respect that they will accord a well-seasoned coach, which would ultimately make them give their all for the coach.
I don't know that Allardyce is the romanticized vision that our players have of their savior.
I know.
Maybe if
I
you're
just
playing,
mentioned that.
maybe if you're playing for like a West Brom or something like that. So,
Mhm.
but that brings up a bigger point, and I have two questions for you. One is related to Arsenal. The other is related to groceries.
Okay.
Price check coming up.
Yeah. The first question is he losing the dressing room? Because that has always been my end stop or full stop of when a manager's lifespan is over, is when his players don't believe in him anymore, no matter what his ideas are. And the second thing is there any food to your right or left that's within grabbing distance, and can you show us what it is?
Okay. So first thing is no. Second thing, there's a
Yeah.
food to my grabbing distance, and this is mini sweet peppers. So
Damn.
yeah,
All right. So you are literally in the vegetable section.
yeah, I am in the
Major
vegetable
props to
section.
you. I've never experienced that before.
And to answer the first thing you asked, I think he's lost the dressing room since last season. I think he's coming with a sort of militarized approach, where he knows he's not got like the experience on his side or the age on his side for people to, ultimately respect him. So he has to look for, like these things in other channels, like the loophole. So it tends to go like, a military dictator with these people. As the absence of Aubameyang against Tottenham last season, when he was 5 minutes late, to the bus or whatever that was. So, in my opinion, I think he's lost the dressing room since last season. I think he doesn't have a clue what he's doing because I don't understand how we'll have certain players that are still on the roster and they can come in or they're not playing or we there's different things going on in the club that needs addressing. There's different things and the manager always comes speaks to the media so well that you feel okay, all is well and good, but trust me, the club is in shambles right now. It's a shadow of what we've been in the past, what people have known Arsenal to be. The only good thing about Arsenal right now is the jersey you have on. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only good thing about Arsenal as of right now.
Well, and I'll add one to it, and it's something I've said over and over and over again. It's I kind of preach about it, but the environment where I was today, where I still am today, they've all left, but I'm still here. I see. Oh no, that was a Bayern Munich jersey. Look, if you can't enjoy the time with your friend, I mean, that is like the only thing we have left is to go be with your mates, go to the pub. Gallows humor, if you know what that means. I mean, I would rather laugh about how shit we are than fucking have to really spend a lot of time thinking about how shit we are, and know that I can do almost nothing about it. But we're always trying to see the positives, and at this point, it's almost impossible to see anything on the pitch that's a positive. Michael, get back to the shopping. We don't want you to get arrested. I don't know why you would get arrested, but for
don't worry, I have
for disturbing people while they shop. Are there any other like Chelsea fans at the grocery store?
Well, I don't know. There might be some Real Madrid fans because it's a lot of Mexican around here.
And if anyone wants to join you at the grocery store, where can you be found? Like we normally ask about social media, but where can people physically join you right now and talk? Yeah.
Right now, you can join me at the HEB produce section in Houston, Texas. But if you want to find me on social media, it's at Michael Ayor on Instagram. It's at Baba Jide on Twitter.
Michael, you buddies with Steven Hernandez?
Nah, I don't know.
You don't know Steven? All right, Steven is I think he's the branch manager for Houston. So get out to the pub, stop shopping for groceries, watch the games, at least enjoy the companionship as we get relegated this season. All right, buddy. All right, take care.
I like that.
Hey, Michael, thanks for dropping by, brother.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Aston, you've been waiting patiently.
No, don't do it, Aston. Don't do it.
You had your now. I was setting up for the podcast, and Aston, Aston has carte blanche. Aston has carte blanche now to come on any podcast that he wants and get first billing. So Highbury Squad, there he was. But I wasn't able to hear the whole thing. I mean, Sophie's here now. Would you like to tell her how much you love her, or are you guys? Did you fall out?
No, of course not. I love Sophie. She's literally one of the best presenters in the business. All that's going on is Sophie's just angry. Arsenal fans are angry. We're going to be angry. We're not used to this. And it's okay for us to express our anger. Why would I be mad at Sophie about that? And
I'm just trying to start shit. I know that you're not mad.
I know. Magic Mike.
Sophie is the best. She's the best at having confrontations and not having it get personal. I've never met anyone as fully actualized as she can to get all the way down into the we're having a debate situation and then be and then pull it back from there. Yeah. So yeah.
It's okay because it's human nature that when we get emotional, we lose the nuance and we lose our ability to look at situations kind of honestly and also in greater detail to kind of suss out what's really happening, which is boring. I know. The fact of the matter is, we really just lost to a team that won the Champions League and the third or fourth best striker in the world against our second string center back. I'm cool. Mari was a joke. We get that. He was bad. Xhaka was on the floor more than Greek plates on a wedding. It's just it is what it is. I'd rather look at the positives that I see happening. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I don't like being depressed. I mean, everything sucks at this point.
Well,
Everyone out, youth in, and then the youth sucks, so the youth should be out.
Okay, so on that note, first and foremost, there you go, Aston, for you. Breaking news: Aston doesn't like Sophie. Second of all, while we're on the subject of
my transfer request,
there you go. While we're on the subject of youth, because there seems to be, believe this or not, I'm going to use the word planned. Course of action for the club to rejuvenate our squad, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What's the balance here, Aston, between, is there such thing as going too young? And is it reasonable to get such a young squad and expect to sell this extremely young squad to a top class manager? Like,
I'm gonna pop that bubble a little bit, because last time I checked, our worst players were our oldest ones today. Xhaka and Mari were shocking, and it wasn't our young players. Matter of fact, our midfield and defense was so bad that Leno just passed the ball right down the field, and we did way better at that, building up attacks, than we've ever done playing out of the back with those guys. So, I think our young players are actually really good. I think they're going to get a lot of slack because this is a negative time, and it sucks that they have to shoulder that. But the reality is, Martinelli just played in the Olympics. Saka just played in the Europa League. They're both tired, and they still looked fine. I mean, one of the big things that I noticed today, if you want to take a positive, is I think Martinelli's far ahead of Balogun.
None of us are playing in the Europa League. I just have to point that out.
You know what I meant, Euros. But I think Martinelli's way in front of Balogun, and I think that's exciting. You know what I mean? If you noticed in this game, Pepe wasn't double teamed the whole game, and that was entirely because Martinelli was just running back and forth the entire time. And sure, he didn't get the ball, but that's not his fault. You know what I mean? And as far as of the other youth too, if you want to go into it, I mean, Saka was great. I think ESR is great. I think the main issue is, it's like Arteta says, and I know everybody's going to hate me saying this, but we're like a couple of players away from the project blowing up. and that's specifically, and we saw it exposed again today, and that's specifically in the midfield. And I think that, I don't know, as far as what do I blame Arteta with? I think that Arteta could do things differently over this last year, sure. I don't think that this game was actually that bad. I actually think he was very flexible. I just don't think people noticed what he changed.
He just looked second best the entirety of the 90 minutes. And
yeah, which of our players is better than any of their players?
Well, I agree, but it just, there are, in the Premier League, you see teams that are obviously second best, not necessarily roll over, and that's what we saw today. But
how many times did they get the ball in behind Mari this time? Because 2 weeks ago we were complaining about how we were getting burned straight down the middle. And did you guys not notice that didn't happen this game?
No. Where do we get burned though? Where do we get burned? And
we got burned. Wait. Let me address that. We got burned on the left side because Tierney kept having to come into the center and cover when Xhaka missed the ball. So
which was absolutely.
We switched.
That was
Sammy
the issue on
Xhaka,
the second goal,
and we stopped conceding chances on the left-hand side.
And that's what I wanted to ask both of you. Defend Kieran Tierney today, because both those goals came from his side. But was he asked to do too many things? I mean, look, this is always the narrative of do you go in on Tierney for having a shit game, or do you find out where things broke down, for Tierney to have to have covered someplace that he was,
So when you say he had a shit game,
those goals we were so bad on the left side today. It's not even funny.
So did you notice that in both of those goals, Tierney was covering for Xhaka and Mari? He either Mari would literally be losing to Lukaku and Xhaka would be just drifting out somewhere, and that's why he came in, because if you look, he's 2-on-1 both times. So what do you want? What do you want him to do? He is adjusting. He's adjusting to the fact of what he sees on the field. So it's I don't know. I think that Tierney is great. I really, the thing that I'm most worried about, to Mike's question, is I'm really worried about burning these young players out. That's what I'm actually worried about. I think the atmosphere, I think the way that we're approaching the game right now, and I just think that the whole thing is not a great setup. And it's like basically we're doing a trial by fire right now. Remember the last time we did that in 2008? Didn't end well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's go to some comments from Martetta after the game. It's interesting because we've got James saying Tierney was awful. We've got Loki saying that he's got no question to answer because ultimately he was exposed due to other people's faults, and that was the reason I asked the question, which is like.
What do you guys think?
Can I point in, because this is going to be a slight source of frustration for me this whole window. I mean, I'm hoping that means Fiorentina scored and Mourinho's Roma is losing, by the way. But, all right, David.
Roma's winning.
Or David, as you like to say. Look, last week, Mari steps up to cover Xhaka, ends up getting burned. This week, Tierney steps up to cover Xhaka, ends up getting burned. So there is a slight look that the center midfielder position is going to be a pain in my rear end. At least for what it seems like another summer. And I know Sambi is stepping up, and he's been looking really brilliant, and it's refreshing. I honestly, I wasn't expecting him to get this much game time. I understand the party's injured, but going based on the past decisions that Teta has made, I was kind of thinking, and then he's going to start because he's going to value experience over somebody young. But Sambi's been a breath of fresh air.
Can we go with this?
Shame. I love when Samir calls Arteta Pep Light, by the way. I absolutely love it. Love you, bro. All right, Mikey,
so
get on. Sorry.
Let's go to the Arteta quotes. I'm not going to put them up on the screen. I'm just going to say them. So, yeah, Arteta said, "You can always do things better in a football match. In the first half, we had some difficulties. It took us a long time to regain the ball in the areas we needed. When we did, we looked a real threat." Okay. On whether this is the most difficult period of his career. One of the difficult moments you have to go through. The circumstances are really difficult and probably unprecedented. Feeling sorry for ourselves doesn't help, though. Okay, sorry. Roma almost scored with all of our ex-players. It's really challenging at the moment. We're missing 9 players. We are playing with a lot of courage. They are trying their best, but at the moment, it's not enough to win football matches. Let's stop there for a second. Aston, on a scale from 1 to total bullshit, where do you put that?
I put that in the, if he would have said the part where he said like, "Oh, Mari was absolute shit today," everybody would have had to go at him. So I just feel like, what is he supposed to say? What do you want him to say? Do you want him to call out the players? Would that make you guys feel better about it? I mean, honestly,
works for some coaches.
The thing is, realistically, if you don't have results in your favor, which it hasn't been going the team's way. At this point, Arteta even got I'm gonna say more positive Arsenal fans. Negative. To be completely honest, I hate the positive negative. There's people that question things more than others, and that's completely, absolutely fine. So just ignore the positive thing. But those that were holding out faith that he might be able to turn it around, they are starting to kind of think, I don't know. So at this point, Arsenal Arteta has a massive amount of the fan base kind of questioning him. And because of that, literally, like Aston said, no matter what he says, because we saw it last season when we were going through a bad patch prior to that December break that we had, where I think he tore into Pepe and the fan base completely wrecked him. And then he came out and defended another player. I forgot who it was. It was Shakhtar.
Pepe for his discipline, and then he supported Xhaka, I think, for his
That's what I'm saying. So, but the point for me was essentially is to Tassin's point. It's literally no matter what he says during these press interviews after a bad loss like that, he's not going to get a free ride. There's nobody's could allow him to literally he can't say anything other than to play the next game and hopefully win. There's no comments that Teta could give or a player could give that's going to make fans feel better.
And here's the situation, really. It's like, unfortunately, and we called this years ago, and some of us are now having to like die by the sword, which is, hey, we're going to be bad after Wenger, and we're going to have to rebuild this whole team. And if you would have said those years ago that it was going to, we wouldn't be, back in the top 4 for 5 years, a lot of people agreed. But it's like when it's happening, it's harder for us to process it. It's harder for us to see it because, I mean, honestly, like we missed like not only like it's hard because we want to do things like we want to blame Abba, for example, but Abba wasn't on the pitch today. Lacazette wasn't on the pitch today. But all I'm hearing is Abba. How many times is he going to bench Aubameyang? Why didn't he start? What do you guys want from him? You get mad at Mari is getting destroyed. Well, what do you want? Do you want him to play Gabriel? Gabriel wasn't there. You know what I mean? We don't have a left-sided defender. We don't have our first choice right-sided defender. If he goes to a back three and plays Chambers and plays them man on man, who do you think wins? Like, do you think a back three magically makes this like somehow win our battles?
None of it matters against a team like Chelsea because we're not a team like Chelsea at this point.
Exactly. We have to. That's the pill that we have to swallow.
This isn't the podcast of let's just fucking bend over and accept it. I mean, in some ways it is, but
don't go there.
When it comes to Arsenal. I can't help but think like this is what we are and how much anger and angst and finger pointing do we need to do before we realize that it's a much bigger problem than something that we could just solve from week to week. I say again that I think that the North London Derby on the 26th of September, which comes from look, we're going to go into the international break with a historically bad start to the season. Then we'll have 2 opportunities to pick up points on, against Norwich and I forget who the other West Brom. No, can't be West Brom.
West Brom is
West Brom's the League Cup game. But best case scenario, we're going into that derby with 6 points out of 15. And we end with 6 points out of 18, or we end up with 9 points and a victory in the derby. Like what? Burnley, thank you, Zamir. I mean, it's not a good situation. But speaking of West Brom, and we're going to end here, I think, Aston, we have a game on Wednesday against West Brom in a League Cup second round matchup, which we haven't played in for over 22, 23 years. How important to you is the League Cup? Given that we don't have Europe, and who do you expect to see on the pitch on Wednesday, knowing that we have a game against City on Sunday? Are we giving up are we focusing more on Wednesday than Sunday? Are we putting out the Azizes and the Hutchinsons of the world? Those Benny Hill crew?
I think it's a no-win situation. You put out a strong team on Wednesday, and we lose to Man City. We're accused of not taking this league seriously. We do the opposite. We're called trophyless. I think that it's important that the club do something to try to get some silverware on the table. The reason being is I think our club just needs a boost. I think that the same way that nuance disappears when we're negative, it also disappears when we're positive. So I think I'd really like to see us have a real go at winning something to bring some positive, some illogical positivity back, And I do agree with you. I do think that we're coming up on a reckoning on Arteta. And, as much as, people might say I defend him, I see tons of mistakes. Like, why was Xhaka captain? You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. The point is keep drinking, Gooners.
Yeah, I mean,
keep drinking.
The one thing that's gonna
Mike,
suffer.
the mic. Yeah, there you go. We couldn't hear you because you had the mic away from you.
Sorry, the one thing that's going to suffer this season more than Arsenal supporters is Arsenal supporters' livers. And by the way, I'm looking up on the corner here and listening to people, and you know who looks really, really good for Roma? Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham.
Oh, they've just scored. All right, so they've just scored. and it's been waved off. Yeah, Tammy Abraham looks like he's got the bit between his teeth or whatever the fuck that expression is, and yet he wasn't good enough for us.
Yeah, because Aubameyang's better. But it's cool because like we have no
I
mid.
love
Like,
that.
Can Tammy Abraham play center mid? Because that's what we need. I get that there are shiny new toys out there, but we need to be sensible.
He really looks incredible, actually. Sammy Abraham.
I mean, he's an attractive.
I'll be completely.
I'm not going to doubt that.
I'll be completely honest. I thought Aston was going to be like way more fired up, but I think he unwound on Highbury squad, so he's a little bit more tamed right now. But I think Aston is. I'm going to say you're more willing to accept the very hard reality in which our club is currently in. And to your point, because when there's a major like revamp in the whole club, and fans will say this is gonna take a lot of time to fix. I think when they say this is gonna take a lot of time to fix, they're like, okay, so a few seasons, like a few months, and we'll be back on track. I think to Aston's point, I mean it was a massive uphill battle, and I'm not speaking solely on Arteta. I'm speaking the club to fix the wage issues, the squad, the old players. It was a massive freaking work. So
let's be honest.
So it's going to take a long time.
Let's be honest. This is a 15-year rebuild, and we're in year 4. So just buckle up for the next 11 years. Everything's coming into place. We're getting younger. By the time our young core is 35, we will have won. It's a goal.
Please, I dare you say it's Tammy. Is it Tammy?
I know Arsenal doesn't understand this, but this is how it looks when the team that you're rooting for scores.
Where are you, Mike?
He's in. Where did these Roma fans come from? I'm confused.
Northern Virginia, apparently. Yeah.
Northern Virginia is heavy. Heavy on the Roma fan.
This pub is Arsenal. Unfortunately, there's a lot of Shavs and Spurs that come in here, but Roma's always had a presence here. So,
Mike,
what are you gonna do?
Can I say, are you doing this whole microphone thing to like top Tom Canton? Because his new media duties, are you looking more official?
Just be glad that I haven't entire thing into my mouth.
Mike, when are we going to get some karaoke?
I don't know. I thought we had it in Orlando, but I couldn't stay up for it. So
all we need is Bukayo Saka.
All right, I think this is probably a good place to close it out.
Probably a good place to. Aston, dude, thanks for joining us, dude. As always,
Aston, thanks. Who else was with us? Michael was with us. Sam was with us. Colin, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Colin, you're always welcome. We always know what to expect.
John dropped by with the video.
John with the video and in the chat. Everyone in the chat: Taib, David, John, aka Dublin Gooner, Yo-Yo's in the Hizzle, Loki. Who else we got? We got some people. Somehow I actually made it through Big Stevie. Big Steve. Do we want to extend this for another 5 minutes to get Big Stevie on? Mikey, you can go if you want.
I know. I got 20 more minutes. So yeah, bring him on. Come on through,
all right,
Stevie.
All right, Steve, if you want to come on, you can come on. But yeah, this is it's going to be a long season. So we're going to be focusing on a couple of different things. We're going to be focusing on Gooners versus Cancer. We're going to be focused on Gooners not watching Arsenal anymore, and that's what we're going to do. So, quick interlude.
Do you see? I'm sorry. If we could bring them both on, but he says, can you send John a link?
Well, you should just go to GoonersOpenMic.com.
With John, maybe you're putting Gooners with an S.
Yeah.
Try to get on, sir. We could
GoonerOpenMic.com. Let me play this real quick, and we'll see if anyone else wants to join us. Otherwise, we'll end the pod. But within the next few days, the official Gooners raffle will be up for anybody that still hasn't given to Gooners versus Cancer. this is what you can look forward to.
Hey Gooners, this is Alan Smith.
This is Kevin Campbell.
Lee Dixon.
Colin Lewin.
This is Gary Lewin.
Charles Watts.
Dan Potts.
James Benge.
Danny.
Tom from the Gooner Talk here.
Ryan O'Castle.
Simon Collins. You may know me from the Evening Standard.
You may know me for my time at Arsenal.
You may know me from Arsenal or even the Highbury squad.
I'm a Birdcat Wonderland.
Being that physio sat on the bench next to Arsene with my rubber gloves on.
The former Arsenal physio.
The Emirates press box, from writing, from Twitter.
From goal.com, from Twitter, from YouTube.
Football is the beautiful game and it brings us all together.
Sometimes there are things even more important than wins and losses.
And yes, even transfers.
Every 30 seconds, someone in this world gets diagnosed with blood cancer.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society works towards curing blood cancers
and provides support to families currently dealing with these diseases.
Gooners vs Cancer was started in 2017
by a lifelong Gooner who lost his father to leukemia way too young.
Over the last 5 years, Gooners v Cancer has raised over $50,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
And we need your help to match that in 2021.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
Every donation helps.
No matter the size.
And every donation enters you into the Gooner Raffle,
where you have a great chance to win amazing Arsenal prizes,
including game tickets, stadium tours,
signed men and women's shirts,
and maybe a retro signed shirt by yours truly, Lee Dixon.
Me, yours truly.
Yours truly, Super Kev Campbell.
So much more.
It's easy to take part.
Just go to www.goonersvcancer.com
and donate directly to the charity.
Pick the raffle prizes you want to enter to win.
And wait for the drawings at the end of the campaign.
Again, that's www.goonersvscancer.com.
We all know that victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
Victory grows out of harmony.
With your help, we'll be victorious against blood cancer once and for all.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your support. Speaking of support, we've got some supporters in the house.
You have.
I don't know how to end the show, so we've just added two people after we've already said we're ending the show. John,
this is how 24-hour pods happen.
Yeah, we're going into our third hour. No, John, at the match today, a joyous occasion, sponsored and provided to you by incredible Gooners and family, and it was just shit, right? Wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was. Well, to be fair, I think we were kind of expecting that kind of result, weren't we? Really, against a good Chelsea team. But it was disappointing nevertheless. I mean, I think the first 15 minutes we did kind of go toe-to-toe with them, but we just haven't got that final product in the bag anymore. It was never seemed to be coming at all throughout the game. I think the only time I saw Mendy do a save was when Saka had a shot and he kind of made a bit of a, tip over the bar, and he made it look all kind of dramatic, but it wasn't really that great a shot. And that was about it, really.
We were chanting at the pub. We were at the pub chanting "shot on goal." Shot on goal. We were just looking for anything that we could possibly.
We couldn't get our shots away, really. We were getting closed down too quickly, and Tierney got a couple of balls in, but he didn't seem to be able to beat his man today and get anything good into the box. I don't know. It was I just felt it was all very flat. Whenever we did seem to go forwards, we'd get right forward and then we'd end up going back, particularly when the ball goes to Xhaka. He always seems to end up going backwards, and it got quite frustrating really towards the end. I mean, we were behind the goal where Leno did that save. How the bloody hell he saved that, I don't know, but it was an amazing kind of reaction save. It looked absolutely brilliant. But Lukaku is another level. We need something like that in our team.
It's incredible what he's done with himself. I mean,
that kind of star quality really is what we're missing. I don't really understand why we waited until the 60th minute to really make a change. I'd have liked to have seen Aubameyang come on at half time, just to give us that kind of presence up front, because we just seem to be lacking that. Smith Rowe played well as usual. And you could tell the young ones were really, really trying the best. The atmosphere in the first, at the beginning was amazing. That's
what I want to. That's what I want to pick your brain about, because first home game. I mean, the last home game with a packed stadium, I was at. 2 years ago,
Yeah.
or almost 2 years ago. West Ham, year and a half. West Ham, 7th of March. Ozil assisting Lacazette on the last goal, a VAR goal. But like that's how long ago it's been since the place has been full. So, result aside, what can you report from the stadium? What was the negativity level? Did you get a sense that the supporters were generally behind the team? Was there a point at which they kind of got sick of it? Like what can we expect going forward?
Well, it was a good vibe to start with, but then when we went into half time and everybody kind of floods to try and get a drink and something to eat, I was going up the steps and I could hear all the other fans saying that's it now. We revert back to situation negative. People saying that's it. We've had enough of Arteta. It's the same old thing. Nothing's changed. And then I think there was a bit of booing at half time when the team went in and that. And we left a couple of minutes before just to try and get out and catch the train just to beat the rush. But as I was doing that video to you guys, you could hear the whistle go. Well, I knew it was the final whistle because I could hear the booing from outside. You know what I mean? To say we're not happy with this situation, and that's only going to continue because nothing seems to be really changing in terms of Arteta's game plan. I don't think the way he sets the team up and stuff. It's just the same kind of thing, and it's just failing every time now. And we're having a goal drought, aren't we? I was just reading. That this is the first time in Arsenal's history that they've had the first 2 opening games and not scored any goals, which is a big worry. I mean, we didn't even see it. I think Aubameyang went even close to it when he came on. Didn't really do a great deal. So, but I do think that when Aubameyang came on, it's just his kind of presence for being that kind of star player. It did change the feel of the game a little bit. You just felt like something was coming, and I think that it made Chelsea a little bit more nervous. But they were in control of the match the whole time, as far as I was concerned. We were quite close to the away fans, and you could hear them ripping the piss out of us. All kinds of chants saying, you're going to be in the Championship next year and all that. We were getting all that, and it just became a little bit disheartening.
What block you were in the enclosure?
We're in
the
block
family enclosure?
Yeah, so block 27, which is kind of like the far left corner, which is near the kind of dugout side. If you know, we weren't too. To be honest, I was about 100 meters away in punching distance from Roy Keane because I could see him down there with all the others.
Always punching distance with him.
And Graham Souness, yeah. But we were right, row 6 we were on, and it was right underneath the canopy. So when it started raining, we got it twice as bad because we had all the rain then dripping onto us on the canopy. We were a little bit underprepared for it, to be fair. We got absolutely drenched. But
anyone you want to shout out for those tickets? Anyone?
I bought my own tickets, to be fair.
Oh, okay. I thought this was part of the whole Max thing.
No. I bought my own tickets, but Max and his dad Matt were down there, and Adam very kindly sorted them out. They weren't too far away from us, and we only really saw them just before we went in outside the Armoury, and then we didn't see them again. And then just when we got off the train at Grantham, it just so happened they'd been on the same train but in a different carriage. So that's just the way it is, isn't it? But move on to the next match and just hope that something improves, really, I suppose. I'm just worried that, Martinelli was really limping when he went off and walked past us, and Kit and Tierney.
It's been said that his seems to be the less worrisome. He said that was just cramp. Tierney's a quad. Martinelli's cramp. Steve, we'll get to you in a second, but having been there today, any signs of a protest?
We didn't see any protests. I thought the protest was going to go outside the front of the stadium outside the Armoury, and we were there at 3:00, but we didn't see anything or hear anything, and as far as I'm aware, I don't think it happened. If it did, it must have been quite small, but I certainly didn't see anything. People were going early. We got an email from Arsenal saying that we want kind of people to try and go in 90 minutes before because they were checking for COVID vaccination certificates, and there was a bit more security and that to go through. So I think everybody kind of went in a little bit earlier today. But as far as I'm aware, there wasn't a protest.
Yeah, having been there, there's a lot of different ways into Emirates, so it's possible there might have been something going on the opposite side, but I didn't get the sense, and I haven't heard from anyone that it was like a massive thing.
It would have been all over socials if we're, at a day and age where everything's recorded. I'm sure people would have been live streaming if it was big.
I don't think people really truly know what they want to protest about. Some are saying it's the Kroenkes, some are saying it's Arteta, some are saying it's both, and it's just a whole mixed bag. It's
we all feel like throwing our toys out of the pram, but like literally, how can we direct that frustration and anger into anything productive? I don't know how it works. So Steve, let's bring you in there. John, do you got to go, or are you gonna stick around?
Me?
Yeah. We're gonna switch over to Steve. So you're welcome.
Yeah, you go to Steve. I'll have a quick listen.
All right, man. So Roma have scored again.
Tammy fucking Abraham again. No, kidding. I'm not watching.
Mikey, take it over and talk to Steve. Steve, who is definitely becoming medium-sized Steve instead of big Steve.
What's up, medium-sized Steve? Tammy Abraham got a brace. He has a brace of assists currently right now, is what I know. But as far as scoring, I don't know. Maybe he could have scored that third goal, but he has been absolutely on fire. And I know, hey, Yo-Yo, shout out to Yo-Yo, who he doesn't rate Tammy, if I recall correctly. But yeah, Big Steve, what were your initial reactions, man? Oh, you know what? One question that John kind of alluded to about the booing after the game, and Dublin Gooner brought it up earlier in the chat room. What's your take on booing in general, Big Steve? Do you look at it like, hey, totally acceptable because fans are just frustrated, or are you kind of looking at it like you're in the stadium, you should just support?
For me, if it's after the final whistle, let your feelings be known. But from minute 1 to minute 90, anything can happen. So, if you're booing at 45 minutes because you're 2-0 down and they're going in for half time, fuck off. That's my opinion. I mean, people have the right to do so. But for me, wouldn't happen. And I think it is so counterproductive because, if your team's 2-0 down, you want to support them, you want to get behind them. As much as it may have been absolute crap in the first half, there's still a chance that they can come back and draw 2-2 or win 3-2. There's always a chance for that to happen. If it stays 2-0 at 90 minutes or 3-0, 4-0, whatever, then make your feelings known. But I think minute 1 to 90, you get behind the team. That's my opinion. If you want to boo after the game, fine. That's the time to do it. And one thing I will say on the booing, I don't know if anybody's mentioned it, but the absolute scum in the away end booing Bukayo Saka today.
I was going to say that.
Now, what gets me is last week everybody spoke about how classy the Spurs fans were, which class and Spurs fans don't often go hand in hand. But they clapped him onto the pitch today. And this is the team. This is a bunch of fans. And I'm not going to say every Chelsea fan or the club in general, but there's obviously a stereotype with Chelsea fans, the chant, we're racist.
It's Millwall.
They've got a team with many black players. And so the fact that, why are they doing Bukayo Saka? Is it the England thing? Are they, showing their true colours in, is it another Paris incident? I don't know. But why do it? Like, everybody else is getting behind this lad because of what he's done for England and the fact that he shouldn't have been taking the penalty and everything. But yet they're sitting in the away stands booing. Like, make a chant about Arsene Wenger liking kids or whatever. That's the banter side of football. But idiots booing Saka today. Ridiculous.
Agreed.
Yeah, that was piss poor. It's one of those things where it's one of those things where, like, even if, look, you want to take the piss out of an Arsenal player, go ahead. But the fact that it was specifically Saka kind of gives you that indication of what exactly they're referring to, and it's really piss poor seeing, like, we faced Spurs, and even they have the decency to applaud him and cheer for him. And look, I'm not even asking fans to cheer and applaud, Rashford, Saka, and Sancho. I'm not even asking for that, but don't boo them, because when you boo them, it kind of gives a really bad perspective, and it really leaves fans to only assume one reason why you're booing them. So it was really piss poor, and goes without saying, this doesn't reflect every Chelsea fan out there, but for those away fans that travel, that you didn't do your fellow Chelsea fans or the club any service.
I'm going to go on record by saying that it reflects on every Chelsea fan out there. Every single one.
Okay, that's fair, Mike.
Now, there were a couple gracious Chelsea fans today who felt bad for us at the pub. It's always nice, but we got that over with. I think now we can get back to celebrating our heroes, but we gotta start playing better. I think we're gonna end it here. John, Stevie, medium-sized Steve, keep it up. Men's large T-shirt, John. I believe I have verification of that. Your T-shirts are on our way.
Oh, thank you.
And we appreciate your contributing to the Gooners versus Cancer cause with a couple of great items. Go to GoonersBeatCancer.com. Within the next few days, we're going to have the final chapter of this summer's fundraiser, which is the biggest one, the Gooner Raffle, with all of the team signed kits, the once in a lifetime opportunities like having beers with Perry Groves after a stadium tour. I mean, you do not want to miss that. Having beer, just talking to Perry Groves is great, but at the pub, are you kidding me? You can bid on that. Amazing tickets in Block 32 to Arsenal. It's going to be fantastic. And if you have given already, thank you, and you're already entered into it. If you haven't, this is a great opportunity to get in and win more stuff. And look, man, we're going to have to keep finding positives to this situation, and we will keep podcasting, and we will keep bringing Mike Hers to you because of his beautiful. He's going to have another child soon.
Soon.
And we're going to bring you that live, right? Right? Are we gonna? Is the perineal tearing going to be live on camera?
I will say that to say I'm going to have a third child is giving a little, discrediting my beautiful wife that's doing I'm going to say
You've
doing
never
most
introduced
of the
us
work.
to her, so as far as I know, you're a single dad who's having a child in 2 weeks.
I'll go.
Can I just say, somebody just said John is Harry Kane. What's that riff? I hope you not saying I sound like Harry Kane when I talk.
No, I was going to highlight it, and then I thought to myself, I can't do it to John, but John
I met somebody.
This person needs to explain what that means, because I don't know if this is a good thing or not.
I don't think it's a good thing either way, John.
No.
Well, no, maybe you're just prolific and you're worth a lot of money.
I didn't realize I dribble when I talk.
No, I have a colleague who I met.
Kane even realizes he does.
Yeah, true.
We had a work meeting about 3 weeks ago, right after I came back from Orlando, and one of my coworkers, I tweeted this out.
Like Harry Kane.
He looks exactly like Harry Kane.
Well, do you know what? When I was younger, everybody used to say I look like Van Persie, but I don't see it myself.
What a downgrade, bro. Van Persie and Harry Kane.
We've only recently met, and I'm a huge fan of you, but you're getting associated with some pretty sketchy dudes.
I know.
And I mean, you kind of remind me of Nasri a little bit.
No,
but
come on, dude, don't do that to John.
Vanelka in him.
I'm going now.
And I will never talk to you lads again. All right, guys.
I like Harry Kane.
No, I don't think you do. I don't
round.
see it. I don't see it.
That's finished my day off now. I'm going for a beer.
All right. Yes.
All right, guys.
Enjoy the beer,
Take care.
my friend.
We'll be back tomorrow night to review the Chelsea game in more loveliness with a Chelsea supporter. Andy will be on tomorrow night. If any of you are Andyacs, or whatever you call someone who likes Andy, he will be on tomorrow night with his friend Serge, who is a cancer survivor, a big supporter of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and happens to be a Chelsea fan. We're going to let him have his say and see what happens from there. But thank you, Giannis. I appreciate you throwing that money in there at the end. We're digging ourselves out of a hole that was dug years ago. Just being honest, but our fans are overreactionary.
Yes,
that's true.
Right, I'm definitely going.
John's getting battered, man.
No, I'm going now. That is the final straw.
John, you remind me of Oleg Luzhny and Patrick and not Patrick Jeffers, but
Patrick Vieira.
No, Jeffers, and your back reminds me of Kim Kallstrom's back. So
Okay,
I mean,
Mike,
I hope you're not going to get offended. All right, we're going to end this.
Do I have to cut you off, Mike?
Yeah, I think you have to cut me off. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.